going on it.
invite them to actually come down when we listen. So
You say if you're
just
involved in any of the following committees or teams, please come forward and take a yellow and orange mug.
got it.
Or raise a hand and you'll receive a yellow or orange mug.
Do you, maybe one of us could take this part and the other person take that? Just let's take part and divide it.
For the beauty of the earth, for the beauty of the skies, for the love which from above, over and around the sighs, over and around the sighs, source of all to thee we raise, this our joyful hymn of praise.
That's me too.
For the beauty of each hour. How's that out there, Brad? Cool, cool? All right. For the beauty of the air, for the beauty of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise this our joyful hymn of praise. For the beauty of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all to thee we raise this our joyful hymn of praise. For the joy of human love, brother, sister, parent, child, friends on earth and friends above, for all gentle thoughts and mild, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all to thee we raise this our joyful hymn of praise.
Come into our house of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. Come in where we welcome the certain and the seeking, the lifers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted. All of you can find a home here at Throop, where we go love the world from the heart of Pasadena and from the very heart of our homes. Hello to our friends joining us by live stream this morning. Our annual congregational meeting is today at 12:30 after the service, and I have heard from the garden team that if you're looking for fresh organic produce, that there is going to be a table full of abundance out on the patio after service. And I've also heard that The refreshments for annual meeting include vegan donuts. I've heard there's vegan cheese. I've heard there's dairy cheese. I've heard there's crackers. I've heard there is coffee and even sparkling water and lemonade. So annual meeting, 12:30 in the fireside room. And today is our annual flower ceremony. And this is a morning where we give thanks for all of the many gifts that you all bring into the congregation. And I am thrilled that our chalice lighting team arrived from the patio, so I'll just invite this group of beautiful flowers to come up to the chancel. And I'll remind us that each of us is a light in the world, and the flame from our chalice symbolizes and reflects that light.
Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with love, compassion, and justice.
Within the heart of a flower, we experience a fountain of beauty. Within the heart of this community, we feel a fire that warms and dances. Within the heart of each of us dwells a spark of the spirit of life.
We light a second candle to honor the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. The land under and around Throop was once and still is the home of the Gabrielino Tonga Band of Mission Indian people. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into seeking justice and equality for all.
We light a third candle symbolizing our watershed, the Arroyo Seco.
May their waters continue to nourish life in our communities. We take a moment of silence, holding all of these in our hearts.
Liberating rose that glows on ragged stem, your beauty helps our hearts lose power to condemn. Your buds are tight with prophecy, your thorns a tougher poetry. You sign the whole and gift of life.
And let's take a moment, turn to a neighbor, and welcome them into worship. have some extra special flowers in the pews. They're in disguise as humans right now, but our story for all ages will be told by Throop players, so come on down.
Okay. Story for all ages, the best flowers in the garden. As summer came to an end, all of the flowers in the garden wanted to know which flower was the best. The pink roses said, "We are the best because we are the first flowers to bloom in spring." The white daisies said, "Oh no, we are the best because we have pretty flowers all summer long." The big yellow mums said, each flower argued that they were the best. But when people came to see the garden, they stopped. All the flowers were quiet, and they looked very proud, so people would think that they were the best. One day, the gardener came into the garden. The pink roses fluffed their petals so that they would look the best. All of the white daisies stood up tall so they would look the best. The yellow mums beamed in the sunlight so they would look the best. All the flowers were sure the gardener would say that they were the best. But the gardener only smiled and said, "Look at all my pretty flowers." The gardener took a basket and began to put the pink roses into it. The roses were sure they were special because they were picked first, but the daisies just laughed at the roses. Next, the gardener put some daisies in the basket, and the mums began to laugh. Finally, the gardener put the mums in the basket. Again, all the flowers began to fight over who was the best. When the gardener got to the house, he began to put all the beautiful flowers into a vase. First, he put the pink roses into the vase, remembering that they were the first flowers to bloom in the spring. Next, he put the white daisies into the vase and thought how wonderful to see them every day when he walked in the garden. Finally, he put the mums into the vase. He was very excited to finally see the autumn flowers. He'd been waiting all summer to see them. The gardener put the vase on the table and said, "I have the prettiest bouquet of flowers. You know, each one alone is the best, but together they look perfect." Suddenly, the flowers realized all along each one was the best that they could be, but it wasn't until the gardener made a bouquet of all the flowers together that they became something special. At last, all the flowers were happy.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Our Throop Community Live gives all of us opportunities to let the inner rose of our hearts and our spirits open up fully into one another. This church happens because each and every one of you find ways to share your gifts. You share your gifts of time, talent, and treasure in so many ways. This morning, we invite you to make a financial contribution, and you can do that in one of three ways. You can give online, you can text to give. If you're here in the room, you can put an offering in our offering plate that will be passed down the aisle. Thank you so much for all the ways you support our life together. The morning offering will now be gratefully received.
We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew. And that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. Is one we pledge ourselves to greater service with love and justice strive to make us free.
And as we give thanks for the offering and for this community, we share together the responsive words. They're in the order of worship. For the ministries of the church in our community, we bless our offering with love and hope. And I invite you to just take a gentle breath in this morning and exhale, holding gratitude not just for the people in this room, but for our earth, which holds us so beautifully. And in a sense of gratitude, we share the words for our promise to our planet, which is also in the order of worship. As members of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, with hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to protect its sacred and scarce resources. We promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself. Each week we promise to protect and to nurture the sacred and scarce resources of our planet Earth. And today we celebrate the sacred resources of all of you, our Throop people. I invite members of the Board of Trustees who are here in the room to come to the chancel to help me with this bouquet of appreciation. Roy and Maureen and Terry and Jim. And our Stephanie is with us today, but she's with us online. So you can come on down. And so many of you offer the precious gifts of your time and talent to this church, and today the board and I offer our appreciation for you. We come together as Throop to deepen our own personal lives, our spiritual lives, and we put our hands and hearts together to take our values out into the wider community. Each color of flower on our altar represents a part of our care, a piece of all the wonderful programs and activities that happen here. And for each area of care, it will be connected to a color of flower. So that's why I wanted you to put your colored flower in one particular vase, even though one of you didn't want to, and yet you took direction from me anyway. You really warmed my heart. Thank you. You know who you are. You made my day. You made my day. And so as you'll hear different program areas named, and for any of those areas that you are involved with, we'll just invite you when the time comes, if your body is allowing you to move forward today, to come down to the altar to take a flower. And if your body feels the best in the pew this morning, we honor that. And we'll just invite you to raise your hand at the appropriate time, and a member of the board will bring a flower to you. And then as you come forward, we have a song of thanks that is in our hymnal and that may be familiar to some of you. And if you have a mask on today and if you feel comfortable, we'll invite you to gently sing these words of thanks. And if you feel most comfortable humming, you can do that. You can also just listen to the rest of us. And it's the song From You I Receive, to You I Give. And Megan's going to show us how that goes.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
And so we begin with care for our worship life, represented by the purple and pink flowers in front of Terry Trindler. And our Sunday morning worship is meant to connect us to each other, to connect us to our sense of the sacred. And our Sunday morning worship experience is held by many hands and many hearts. For those of you who care for our worship life, we thank you. And if you're involved in any of the following teams, you're invited to come forward and take a pink or purple flower. And if you're involved but you don't feel like moving down here this morning, just raise your hand and Roy or Terry will bring a flower to you. So supporting our worship life are people who sing in the choir, our Sunday morning greeting and ushering team, our live stream tech people. Brad, you're gonna have to get from behind the camera, thank you. Our live stream greeters, who we're like throwing flowers at you through the internet right now. Be ready to catch them. Our Throop players, yes, you support our worship life. And any of you who have been so generous to grace us with your lay preaching, if you are in one of those teams or categories, I invite you to come forward and take a flower. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Some of our care is invisible, but no less important to the health and well-being of our Throop community. There are so many ways that the infrastructure of our congregation is maintained through the finances, tending the building, supporting leadership, and nurturing each other's emotional well-being.
For those of you who care for our congregation, we thank you. If you're involved in any of the following committees or teams, please come forward and take a yellow or orange flower, or raise a hand and you'll receive a yellow or orange flower from the board. Campus Caretaking Committee, Endowment Committee, Finance Committee, Pastoral Care Team, Nominating Committee, Board of Trustees, Development Committee, and Intern Committee.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Promises.
Care for a wider community. Some of our care takes place outside of our campus to ensure that the inherent worth and dignity of every being is honored and respected. We live our values out loud in the world. For those of you who care for our wider community, we thank you. If you're involved in any of the following committees, please come forward and take a red flower or raise your hand and one of the board will bring it to you. Our social justice team. If you've participated in rallies or marches or wrote letters to your elected officials, please come take a red flower.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
An important aspect of our care is our encouragement of spiritual growth and our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. As Unitarian Universalists, we have the gift of being able to pursue spiritual growth in many ways. For those of you who care for our mind, heart, body, spirit connection, we thank you. If you're involved in any of the following groups, please come forward and take a green or white flower or raise a hand, and you'll receive a green or white flower from the board. The Learning Garden Team, Adult Education, Book Group, Zoom Happy Hour, Death Cafe, Dance Committee, and the Hiking Group. Thank you.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. receive to you, I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Some of you have a flower in your hand, and some of you may be wondering when you're going to get yours, and that time is coming. And not just because I'm going to ask you to volunteer, though that time is coming. I'm making note of who doesn't have a flower in your hand right now. That's what I've been doing up here. But if you have a flower in your hand, I invite you to gaze upon that one. If you don't have one yet, I invite you to gaze at these or hold in your mind an image of one of your favorite flowers and just let the beauty of that particular flower just fill you up in this moment. And to take it in and enjoy it. Absorb each wondrous petal. If you're holding one, pay attention to the different lines in the petals themselves or the ways that the leaves are formed, or maybe you have one that is on a stem with no leaf, and maybe you just feel the texture of that stem. And if you have more than one, note how the texture of different flower stems feel against your fingers. And the fragile beauty of the flower you hold is unique. There's not any other flower exactly like that one. And aren't we like these flowers that we hold? We too are so fragile in our human lives and so beautiful in all we aspire to in our lives. We are resolute. We turn toward life over and over, even when we have lived through times when we felt like we couldn't turn toward the sun ever again. And inexplicably, somehow, we do. We shimmer with our own sense of expectation, and vulnerable, we move courageously toward a future with hope, with light. And each of us, fragile yet rooted, we rest in the common good of the world. I invite us all to take just a gentle breath in together and to exhale, and to let a shared stillness hold all of us in this space as we reflect on all that is our own life, to reflect in stillness all that is our community life. And so take one more moment and look at the flower or flowers either in your hand or on the altar, remembering that that particular flower represents your contribution in particular areas of our Throop community life. You're scattering your own seeds, if you will, here at Throop, helping us move toward a world that is filled with ever more love and compassion and justice. This world and this church would not be the same place without each and every one of you. In a moment, you'll have a chance. Don't get too attached to that flower because you will have a chance to share it with someone else in the room. And in doing so, we honor this, our covenanted community, and we celebrate the differences among us. And so I'll invite you to actually rise up or turn in your seat and exchange your flower once or twice or multiple times. Especially look for someone whose hands may be empty right now. And as you turn and exchange or offer a flower, just say thank you. And really try to notice the fullness of the person in front of you. Your thank you honors our individual paths and the unique ways that all of us seek connection with the divine, the unique ways we bring wholeness and holiness into the world.
For flowers that bloom about our feet, for tender grass so fresh and sweet, for song of bird and hum of bee, for all things fair we hear or see. Giver of all, we thank thee. For blue of stream and blue of sky, for pleasant shade of branches high, for fragrant air and cooling breeze, for beauty in the blooming trees. Giver of all, we thank thee. For this new morning with its light, for rest and shelter of the night, for health and food, for love and friends, for everything thy goodness sends. Giver of all, we thank thee. For flowers that bloom about our feet, for tender grass so fresh and sweet, for song of bird and hum of bee, for all things fair we hear or see. Giver of all, we thank thee. Giver of all, we thank thee.
And we close out this flower ceremony with a prayer that was written by Dr. Čapek. He was a Unitarian minister in Prague and created this flower ceremony for his congregation in Prague in the 1920s. And that was a time where there was quite a bit of uneasiness in the world. It wasn't necessarily, diversity among people wasn't necessarily celebrated. And so he created this as a reminder that just as there are so many beautiful different flowers in the garden, when we humans come together and we're able to be our whole, and holy selves with one another, that we create even more beauty and amazing energy in the world. And so this is a ceremony that's done in many Unitarian Universalist congregations today. And again, these are words he wrote as a benediction and prayer. In the name of love, we celebrate the friendships that are found here. May we be held in the long tradition of this faith, knowing that we are on shoulders of those who came before us. Let us carry their same resolution to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person. May we gather strength from these good people, knowing that the spirit of love and life unites us, and may we endeavor for a more perfect, a more peaceful, a more grace-filled world and life. Amen.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and the rose in the winter time.
Place a hand on your heart and reach one out to a neighbor or to the live stream. Our chalice is extinguished. We carry its light with us. Within the heart of a flower, we experience a fountain of beauty. Within the heart of this community, we feel a fire that warms and dances. Within the heart of each of us dwells a spark of the spirit of life. I love you all. Go out and love the world. Go to the annual meeting at 12:30. Amen and blessed be.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let the dancing song